Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You are watching Columbus Connection. We have an amazing show with amazing guests coming up just for you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Mr. Chris Kelly, and I told you that we had some very, very special guests for today's episode. Listen, some people really don't need an introduction, but of course, it is my job to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I have none other than my big sister, Danita Gibson Lord, and my uncle, Mr. Tracy Mosley from the Urban League of Greater Columbus. How are you all doing?
Well, we are outstanding, and
Absolutely.
we are of the River Valley.
Of the River Valley. So, see, that's why
That's
we
right,
have you
that's
here,
right,
because
that's
not
right.
only are you making that connection with them, you're
Yes.
making that connection with me
That's
as
right.
well. So
Yes.
what went into the name change?
Well, first and foremost, we have been in the community now going on 53 years.
Okay.
And we were focused Columbus-centric.
Yeah.
But as we were looking at our mission and our vision, we knew we wanted to expand. And so
Wow.
what better way to expand than to encompass the entire River Valley? So we are the
Right.
Urban League
Right.
of the,
River Valley. So ladies and gentlemen, let me say that one more time. The Urban League of the River Valley.
That's right.
So thank
Yes.
you all again
Thank you
so
for having us.
much for coming. I've known you all for several years now, with several things that I've been involved in with the community, and of course the Urban League as well. Last year, I had the pleasure of celebrating with you all the legacy of the league.
Yes.
You all had several great events going on in the community that thankfully you all have allowed me to be a part of. But I want to go back. But before we get down to the nitty gritty, as they say, let's go back and let's talk about your life. What led you to the path that you're on today? Tracy, I want to invite you in on the discussion as well. What led you to where you are today? But ladies first, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Danita, can I start with you? Talk to
Absolutely.
the audience a little bit. Tell them about Danita growing up.
Ooh, well, Danita growing up in this community now 57 years.
Wow.
I am a product of Muskogee County School District.
Wow.
Having gone to St. Mary's, then to, as we used to call it, Rockchild, even though it's Rothschild, and then also the Hardaway High School.
Okay.
And so it's been a pleasure to have been in this community, but to be able to leave and then come back.
Wow.
Because so often what happens is that we lose our young people.
Correct.
They don't come back.
Right.
And so when I was able to come back in 1990 and able to get fully involved in the community once again, it's been a pleasure to be able to do so and then to hit the ground running in the community,
Right.
doing activities, making sure that we were working from a nonprofit perspective, and then just servant leadership. So Columbus, Georgia is home. And it's often very rare when people ask me, "Are you from here?" Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah,
proudly
yeah.
from Columbus, Georgia.
Wow,
A
that
Columbus,
is awesome.
Georgia native.
Wow. Rockchild, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Rockchild. We used to call it the Rock.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, ever since I've known you, you have always been professional. You have always been friendly. You've always had such an energy force around you. I've always said that. I said, man, that woman just sounds like she belongs on television or
Oh, wow.
radio. Have you ever went that direction? Have you ever gotten
Well-
involved in radio or TV or anything like that?
Actually, my undergraduate degree is in English with minors in speech and dramatic arts.
Wow.
And then my master's degree is from Columbia University in New York
Wow.
City.
Okay.
With a focus on journalism, but broadcast journalism. So
Wow.
I once upon a time said that I would be like, this is Danita Gibson Lord. I'm reporting live here with Chris Kelly of, and then we do the interviews and that type of thing. And in fact,
Wow,
did a
that
little
is
bit of
awesome.
stint with
Yeah.
South Carolina Educational Television
Okay.
back in the 90s.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
also did a little bit of radio once I came back to Columbus, Georgia, but was
Wow.
able to jump into corporate journalism
Yeah.
with Columbus Bank and Trust Company.
Yeah.
And then with the Synovus companies, and then I transferred over to TSYS.
Okay.
And I spent 15 years at TSYS
Wow.
as their director of corporate communications, marketing, serving as the company spokesperson,
Yeah.
and then was able to branch out into some entrepreneurship endeavors, selling insurance,
Okay.
and then also teaching at Fort Moore
Yeah.
as a personal finance instructor,
Wow.
and doing a stint with Girls Inc. and now
Wow.
back with Girls Inc. as
Yeah.
the COO, working
Wow.
with the Urban League for the last 13 years.
Wow.
So yeah, it's all about service. It's all about giving back. It's all
Yeah.
about making the community better than what you found it,
Right.
and to leave an impression on the community.
Well, that's amazing. You mentioned radio. Back when I was 20 years old, that was about 18 years ago. I had a brief stint as a radio salesman. What I was doing was I would go out to the local community and I would sell radio spots. So one day I decided to venture into the studio. I thought I was sneaking in there. One of the engineers happened to be in there. And so the mic was hot, so I got on the mic. And there was a guy, I don't know if you all recall, back in Ohio. He was a homeless man, and he went by the man with the golden voice. And he got on and he said, "You're listening to the best of oldies, you're listening to Magic." And so I got on the radio and I started doing that. And this guy says, "Man, do you have, any training or anything?" I said, "No, it's just natural.
Just
You know, I
natural.
grew up in theater. I grew up kind of on stage. My father has been in ministry my whole life. My whole family is very artistically inclined, singers and poets and all that. So when I heard you, I just said, man, I don't know if Columbus knows what they have, And then lo and behold, I meet this guy sitting next to you, and we really just connected via social media, and then some of the events that I did. And he walks up to me and he says, "Man," he said, "you have amazing talent." He said, "You really do." He said, I'm not from here." He said, "I've been here for a little while." He said, "But I recognize the ability that you have.
Absolutely.
Continue to do what you're doing." And with that, Tracy, I want to say thank you for instilling that confidence. You hear compliments all the time, but when it's from people like yourselves that you look up to, when they say, "Hey, keep going,"
Right.
you have something to impart to this community. Talk about you're a Yankee, right? I'm from Ohio. You're from Wisconsin.
Right.
What Big Ten country,
baby.
man?
That's it.
What brought you down this way?
Well, I took it was a journey. It was a journey.
Okay.
So part of my journey, I went to the University of Wisconsin.
Okay.
At Stevens Point, one of the campuses there, one of the 11 campuses there. And when I graduated, I had an internship in the admissions office at my institution, and I wanted to get out of that cold weather.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
back then, it would literally snow in November, and I wouldn't see the ground until March or April.
Absolutely.
And I just had to get out of there,
Yeah.
And so unlike a lot of my friends that are still up there to this day, I ventured south. And so I got a job working at a small college called Maryville College as an admissions counselor, ultimately became the admissions director. And my background is in marketing, communication. I was a communication major.
Wow.
We share a lot of commonalities.
Yeah.
And so the marketing company that I hired to help market our college, he offered me a job in Atlanta, and I've always wanted to live in Atlanta. I loved Atlanta. I visited there a lot of times.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I spent about 5 years at that college, and ultimately came to Atlanta, worked for Phoenix Communications.
Okay.
And so as my progression grew, I represented ultimately about 22 colleges and universities. 14 of them were HBCUs.
Wow.
So I traveled. I was in the college campuses every other week. And so I did that for my stint. Then I had an opportunity to work at Delta Airlines.
Wow.
So I became 16 years at Delta Airlines. I started off in customer service.
Okay.
Because they have told you to get in anywhere, you got to go through either reservations or customer service.
Right.
So I went through customer service and spent about 4 years there. And then after that, I spent the rest of my tenure there working in marketing, worldwide marketing and public relations for Delta Airlines. And so I was traveled a lot.
Wow.
Working in the marketing department.
Wow.
And did that, and 9/11 hit. So I actually was looking at my office and saw all those planes land that day, and that was a turning point.
Right.
And so within 6 months of there, I wanted to do something different. That kind of shook me up a little bit.
Right.
Then I went into looked at nonprofit.
Okay.
And worked for as a fatherhood director, a small nonprofit called Forever Family for about 2 years in Atlanta. After that, I was sought out by the Urban League, and that's how it was my pathway into the Urban League. And so years later, I spent almost 12 years with the Urban League of Greater Atlanta.
Okay.
I had about 4 different positions, then finished up my last 5 years was as vice president of programs, oversaw about $5.5 million worth of programs and a staff of about 38 folks that we administer programs all over Atlanta.
Wow.
And then I had the national office called me and said there might be an opening in Columbus.
Okay.
I said, Columbus? You know? and I didn't know anyone. You know, usually you know somebody somewhere.
Right.
I knew no one in Columbus. And
Wow.
so I came here as about 3-month consultancy and then ended up being their CEO.
Yeah.
And 3 years later, here we are.
Here we are. Wow.
Yeah.
Service.
Yes.
Speak towards that end. I know you said you got into nonprofits. You know, so many people pick vocations based on the money that they can get. But I really view the Urban League, you know, our last guest, Mr. Ben Moser from the United Way, you get involved in these organizations, you're not driven, you cannot be driven by money.
No.
You have to be driven by the mission. Can you all speak to that? Is this like a calling for you all? Is this a ministry of sorts? Speak to your service within the Urban League.
You can start.
Well, for me, it really is. It's a ministry. It is a way to serve and to give back. I am very fortunate that so many people imparted into my life, not just my amazing parents who are about to celebrate 60 years worth of wedded bliss.
Applause.
Amen. But
Congratulations.
also my grandparents and then the community, the village. You know, it's
Right.
truly a village. And although a lot of things have changed, because sometimes these days you can't tell children in the village to do anything because they want to
Right.
talk back.
Right.
But realizing that we got to have that village.
Right.
We've got to have that safety net to
Right.
catch those that perhaps don't have that support at home that I was blessed and fortunate to grow up with. And so it is a calling because I don't want any young person to be without. And so in many ways, I will often take on and mother and adopt those people that I
Yeah.
love. I see potential in them and I want them to grow. And the Urban League is one way that I can further do that, as well as what I do with Girls Inc. But at the Urban League, we're focused on 5 major pillars, which is jobs, education, housing, health, and entrepreneurship. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And so we're focused on making sure that everybody
Yeah.
has an opportunity and has a chance. And we're leveling the playing field.
Right.
And it's service.
Yeah.
I realize that we are planting seeds for trees whose shades we will never
Wow.
enjoy.
Wow. Can you say that one more time, please?
We are planting seeds for trees whose shade we will never enjoy.
Wow.
But it's imperative that we plant those seeds
Yeah.
because someone planted them for us.
That's right. That's
Wow.
right.
So
And
we continue to do that.
Right.
That's why we serve.
And for me, you know, I watched many, not only young people, but adults. We have programs for the adults. We have a reentry program for men that are coming out of incarceration. And when you can know that you have touched someone that has made a bad decision, maybe got around the wrong people, but they end up serving their time and they come out. And I want them to come out to a community that's going to embrace them and that's going to lift them up and going to give them the opportunities that they deserve. And so that's what we do at the Urban League. And we've seen many people who've changed the trajectory of their life, both youth and adults, you know, because of what we've been able to impart in them.
Yeah. What can the community do to get involved? You spoke of opportunities. Do you all have any events coming up? Can you speak to that?
Oh, we've got so many events coming up.
Okay.
But first and foremost, let me just let you know that we've got a very strong presence on social media.
Awesome.
And we are the Urban League of the River Valley.
Awesome.
And in addition to that, we also have a youth contingent, which is our young professionals. So their Facebook page is Urban League of the River Valley Young Professionals.
Wow.
And then we have another volunteer arm, which is the Urban League of the River Valley Guild.
Okay.
Our website is www.ulrv.org. And we have a website as well, which is simply www.ulv.org, like I just mentioned. So we want to make sure that folks are tapped in, they can donate there, they can volunteer there, they can see all the programming that we do. And we have events within our community that we're really honoring those who have worked tirelessly. And one of those events is coming up on Friday, April the 19th at 6:30 at the Columbus Convention Center Trade Center. We are opening our doors for the Legacy of the League, where we'll be honoring community pillars. We are still blessed that one of the original Baker's Dozen, one of the 13 that founded the Urban League back in 1971, Reverend Rudolph Allen is still alive.
Yes, he is.
And he's going to be present with us.
Yes, he is.
We'll also be honoring the Young Professional of the Year, the Affiliate Board Member of the Year, the Guild Member of the Year, a Meritorious Service Award winner of the year, Community Champions.
Yeah.
And then we go into the pillars that we're going to recognize as well.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we've got a lot of great things we're doing that night. But those events are crucial because they help us to raise the funding for the programming,
Yes.
which support the pillars that we outlined
Yeah,
before. So
absolutely.
we're doing that program that
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, these takes resources. You
Okay.
know, everything that we mentioned about helping people, about serving, all takes resources. And so we get our resources from a myriad of ways.
Okay.
We get it from the federal government. We get it from our National Urban League office. We get it from the community.
Okay.
You know, we're kicking off next month our mayor's summer youth employment program.
Wow.
We'll be putting 100 young people to work over the summer
Wow.
for 6 weeks.
What
paying
type of jobs will those be?
They will be in offices all over the city.
Okay.
So there'll be offices all over the city. And, you know, we've got some, just from last year, we got some great success stories. We got a young man that worked at the Civic Center that was taking photos throughout the summer for the Civic Center.
Yeah.
He is now a full-time employee of Fort Moore
Wow.
as a photojournalist.
Wow.
And he's making a salary with benefits
Yeah.
out on an army base.
Wow.
And he was one of our summer youth employment recipients last year. So
Wow.
you know it's a fact. It doesn't happen to everyone, but we have a way of making sure that they get plugged in. You know, we may have a couple of students that work in here at the studio.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And,
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
we've got
Yeah.
we've got that
Yeah.
going on all over. But that's just an example.
Right.
But that takes resources. It takes
Right.
almost $300,000 to make that program run over
Wow.
a 6-week period.
Wow. So can people just donate all throughout the year, or is
All
there a
throughout the
specific
year, we have a
time that-
donate button.
Okay.
You can do it in the middle of the night. You
Okay.
can do it on weekends. It does not matter. We will take your money anytime.
Absolutely. Well, that is
Absolutely.
awesome. That is
Okay.
awesome. So you all, I do believe it was last year.
Yeah.
You had an all-white party
Yes, we
celebration.
had a party on the bridge. It was
Yeah.
an all-white affair.
Oh.
Closed
Okay.
off the pedestrian bridge
Yeah.
for a whole day on a Sunday afternoon
Yeah.
and had a great time.
Wow. How many people were in attendance?
Oh my goodness. Probably close to 200 or so.
Yeah, I would say
yeah,
200 plus.
Amazing
Oh yeah, I was
Amazing
there. I was
talent.
there.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna brag on myself,
That's
but
right.
you know, and I'm gonna be with
And
you
you will
all
be there next Friday.
That's
Absolutely,
right.
next
That's right.
Friday. So I won't be talking as much. I'll be singing.
All right. You'll be
I'll
delivering
be
the goods
performing.
as you
We
always do.
always got to have the
Yeah.
nephew in the house.
Absolutely,
That's
we,
right.
we have to. Who else is a part of that ticket of entertainment?
Yes.
For next week.
So many people know Palmer S. Williams.
Yes.
He has been on many Tyler Perry productions. He is going to be our primary host.
Yeah.
Myself and of course Mr. Tracy Mosley will be there. And then we have
Yes.
our DJ for the evening is Michael Soul.
Yeah.
Y'all know him. He's a legend in the community.
Yes, he
And
is.
then bring the sultry sounds. We have
Yes.
none other than our amazing host, Chris
Yeah.
Kelly,
Yeah.
and my beautiful first cousin, Jamisa
Yes.
Hummingbird
Yeah.
Lights.
And
will
she's
be
also
there.
a Yankee. She's from, look, we call each other Buckeye to Buckeye. That's
Where's-
my big
she's
sister.
from Ohio?
She's from Ohio.
I did not know
My
that.
mama was born right here in Columbus, Georgia. So that's
Where
how
was
we
she
take-
born, though?
She's Southern. She's Southern to her core.
Yes, she is.
But
yes, she is.
I
Go
just
ahead, I'm
want to say,
sorry.
what acknowledge, I just do say, it takes not only the funding, but it takes a strong board.
Right.
And I have, you know, my partner right here, Danita Gibson Lloyd, who I cannot ask for a better partner with this. You know, I run the day-to-day operations, but she runs the board. And we've got a tremendous 18-member board that she leads and she motivates and she stays on top of and tracks. And so it takes a strong person to do that. And you know, we always talk about, you know, we fuss at each other, but we're fussing because we're both passionate about what we do.
That's
Right,
right.
absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and we want to do everything we do. One thing that I took with me all these years with the Urban League is that we're going to do everything with excellence.
That's right.
You know, whether it's delivering a program, whether it's delivering a event, everything we do is going to be with excellence.
Yeah.
And she's helped to make that happen.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Well,
It's important to me that we have Tracy at the helm because he is known nationally. Our National Urban League now looks to Columbus, Georgia.
Wow.
He has been in the movement for quite some time now, and so they look to him.
Wow.
We're now getting exposure from the National Urban League with Mark Morrell on their social media. They're sharing. he's coming to Columbus, Georgia, because, you know, Georgia is imperative when you begin to think about the elections coming up, getting out the vote. He was here, you know, so they make this a pit stop.
Right.
Columbus, Georgia's Urban League of the River Valley, we're only one of 2 urban leagues in the entire state of Georgia.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
Out of all the counties and cities in Georgia, there are only 2.
There's only
one is
2.
in Atlanta and the other is here.
Why is that?
And you think about Ohio has 6.
Yeah, I mean,
Ohio has 6.
Just a quick point. My family was always involved in the Urban League.
Right.
My grandfather was the president of the local chapter of the NAACP.
Okay.
My older brother is now the first African American or minority captain of our fire department in my hometown. My great grandmother was the first black realtor
Right.
and self-made female black millionaire in my hometown as well. So my family really
know about service.
They know about service. I mean, they just birthed us into this thing. And so I have always admired what you all do. And I want to use that as a segue. What gap are you, how are you bridging that divide between not only, I know you have your young professionals, but getting other young people involved? What are they doing? Is that the young professionals that handle youth involvement, reaching the high schools, et cetera? Can you speak to that?
Well, one of 2 things. So the young professionals is your under 40 group. But we also have youth programs. We're
So you couldn't be with the under 40 group then?
No, I call myself, I've always called myself an honorary YP. I'm the honorary YP. But the youth programs are the programs is we've got 3 youth programs in the schools right now, in the school system.
Okay.
And at Girls Inc. So we have programs where we're empowering the young people. We go into schools every week. We got someone in there right as we speak.
Wow.
And
what
so
are they doing? I'm sorry to cut you
they're
off. What are
teaching
they?
soft skills. So one of the things that's not taught in schools is soft skills.
Wow.
And so we have an evidence-based national program called Project Ready.
Wow.
And our Project Ready are in 38 cities around the country, and Columbus is one of them.
Okay.
They have one in Atlanta as well. But you know, this is it's a great program where it's to ensure that these young people graduate on time and have a career plan. And when I say a career plan, it could be the military, it could be a career, or it could be college, or it could be technical school. So we help expose them to all kinds of things that they would typically not been exposed to if it just going through the traditional school program.
In fact, over spring break, we just took a whole group of girls, youth. They went to a whole Alabama tour. So we went to Tuskegee, went to Alabama State and University of Alabama, and so they had an opportunity to visit the campuses, get an idea about college life, realizing that they too can see themselves in those places, and so it's important to do that.
And then at the same time, because it was during the spring break time,
Right.
so we took 38 students also to an Atlanta Hawks game.
Right.
But we didn't just take them to a Hawks game, we did a behind the business tour. So they got a chance to show up at noon on the day of a Hawks game. They got a chance to hear from the general manager of the Hawks. And they talk about all the various careers that are behind the scenes in the NBA. So they got to talk and see, and they were there before the basketball players showed up.
See, that's amazing, because where there's no vision, the people perish.
That's right.
That's right.
There is a movement at Spencer High School, and I know you all probably know Dr. Rosa Patterson.
Yes,
Does
absolutely.
a phenomenal job, and she invites me all the time. I mean, I
Absolutely.
speak to the 9th grade young men, 10th grade students as well. And one of the things that I always drive home is, unless you believe better, you'll never experience better. One of the things that my parents always did, they took us all over. I mean, I've traveled to 38 of the 50 states. I've been out of the country multiple times as well. And it is a blessing, because it just showed me that there is something beyond what many in black and brown communities believe they can attain to, whether it be in entertainment or sports. So what you all did was showing them many different job occupations behind the scenes that had nothing to do with lacing them up, going out on the court, and being LeBron James. But I want to mention something again, but before we close here, April the 19th. Can we? What time does that start?
So the doors open at 6:30, and the program starts at 7, and we are looking forward to folks coming. It is not too late to buy a ticket
Okay,
or to be a
please, yes.
sponsor.
Yes, talk about that.
It is www.ulrv.org.
Okay.
Tickets are $100. We
Okay.
have sponsorships
Okay.
that are $1,250, $2,500, $5,000, even $10,000. And we just want folks to come out. If they want to just donate, if they want to donate so that a young person can attend, again, make a donation and we'll fill that seat, trust and believe.
Yeah.
We have somebody that's eagerly wanting to be exposed to this group of amazing professionals that will be in the room that night, that can
Wow.
impart to them, that will be able to mentor them. So that's Friday,
Wow.
April the 19th
Okay.
at the Trade Center.
Joining the Urban League, how difficult is that?
Not at all difficult.
Okay, okay.
Again, our website, www.ulrv.org. Become a member, whether it's the affiliate itself with your seasoned folks like myself, or the YPs, or if you want to volunteer, become a member of the Guild. We look forward to you all joining us
Yeah.
and being a part of the movement.
Yeah.
Right, those are our volunteer arms, the Guild
Okay.
and the young professionals.
Okay.
Those are our volunteers.
Okay, so how do young people, what are the qualifications to become a young professional?
Under
Is there
40.
an application process?
40.
interview?
Under 40.
Just under 40?
Yeah.
Under 40, go
Okay.
to the website, click it, and join us.
Wow. So it's just that easy?
It's that
That
easy.
You don't
easy.
sit down and do an interview?
No.
It
Or have
is
to
that
qualify?
easy for people to come in and to make an impact. It is
Okay.
easy. We want to remove barriers. We need all hands on deck. The work before us is too massive to keep people out. We have got to make sure that we are making opportunity available for all, and that's what the Urban League is all about. So join us, become a part of this movement, see us next Friday at the Legacy of the League, taking place at the Columbus Convention and Trade Center. 6:30, the doors open, and we start the program at 7. And come on and hear Mr. Chris Kelly
Yeah.
sing some amazing ballads.
Absolutely.
Tennessee whiskey,
Yes.
putting in my
Yes,
request.
Tennessee whiskey is at the top of the list.
Thank you, thank you,
Is it-
thank you.
And for those who will come with an appetite, obviously there will be amazing food.
Great
Yes.
food.
Amazing
Great
food
food.
That's right.
as well. But as she said, please come out and join the Urban League. It's just that simple. Can you give us that website one more time?
www.ulrv.org. Also, check out our Facebook page, Urban League of the River Valley, our Instagram page as well. We put some stuff out on LinkedIn from time to time. You might even see a TikTok, but come on and join us and follow us and join the movement.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for stopping by today. I appreciate you all taking the text message and the call and thinking it not robbery to come by and spend some time connecting with Columbus.
Anytime.
Thanks again. We appreciate
Anytime.
that. I hope to have you all back again, and I look
Please
forward to
do.
seeing you next
And
Friday.
you will.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm getting ready to go on a cruise, so I got to get out of here.
Yeah,
But
okay.
Thank you all so
All right.
much. We appreciate you.
Take care.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
God
dear.
bless you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned in to an episode of Columbus Connection. I again am your host, and I've had the pleasure of spending this time with you. God bless you all.